I feel like you guys have a fun relationship because you dated long distance for a while.
I wouldn't call it long distance, but
dude, an hour and a half
It was a
drive
measurable distance.
is a solid long distance relationship in
Yeah.
like high school or like just out of high school
Yeah.
when no one's putting up with that kind of inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I remembered making fun of JT a lot for it. Like, dude, why are you putting up with this? It's an hour and a half drive to go see a girl, like, you loser. And just because, like, at the time, I couldn't fathom possibly doing that. Later, I would literally do that for Allie, which is hilarious.
Same distance.
Yeah,
Same distance, yeah. Same drive and everything.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
But one of the times JT was going up to Fort Collins to see you, I went with, and we ended up spending the whole day as like a threesome. And
Not actually.
Oh,
Not
that
literally,
was the
and
best.
I'd love to hear more about, like, that was just, when I think of like really good times with JT and Kim, I picture us ruining a
That
cruiser
beach
bike
cruiser.
in a dirt jump park.
So it was like we met over summer at the car wash, and then I went back up to Fort Collins because I was at CSU at the time, and the car wash always does like an annual like employee day.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is fun if you get to go.
Yeah, JT did.
But I always had to like work the cash register on those nights, except like the one year I got like employee of the year. But all the other years I like pretty much worked that night.
Hashtag humble brag.
Why did you do this for Employee of the Year?
Oh, I
that
don't
one
know.
time I got quote unquote Employee
You guys,
of
it's
the
no big
Year.
deal. I was amazing. They knew it.
No, like it felt like you were like not giving yourself credit. Is what it felt like. Anyways, moving on.
Anyway,
You earned it. You earned it. Just own
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, sorry.
So Josh, and we've had some fun nights. Like the first time I missed it, Josh got some like blow up beach balls.
Oh yeah, it's still on YouTube.
Yeah, there's
Totally.
a YouTube
YouTube Waterway.
Oh, yeah, we
me
should
like
link to that.
dancing with this on over my head, so you can't tell it's me.
yeah, I've seen that.
I haven't even seen this.
The Waterway Man, yeah, it's amazing.
That's like my signature dance. Anyway.
Find this. We'll find it.
So, but then one year he won a beach cruiser bike. And I was in love with it. Like, it was obviously a super girly bike, so he wasn't going to keep it. And he was into BMX, so he had his BMX bike. He didn't want a beach cruiser. But for Fort Collins, it was, like, perfect. And I was so excited to have this bike. And he brings it up to me, and they decide that they're going to go
Well, we didn't have our BMX bikes.
to the dirt jumps in
Just
Fort
to look.
Collins.
We're like, we're here.
we're
Let's
gonna check it out.
see if it's worth bringing
So
our bikes.
so we bring my beach cruiser and their two BMX bikes, and they're like riding.
No, we didn't have our
We didn't
bikes.
have our bikes.
Oh,
That's
you
why we
didn't?
rode
No,
yours.
we had just gone up to see you, and we were dropping off the bike.
So that's why.
And we were like, oh, let's just go look. So
Yeah.
if we want to bring our bikes, it would make sense.
Yeah.
And
So they're like, well, we have the beach cruiser, so we might as well use it. And it got like the whole frame got bent, like the whole wheel just like was.
we
collapsing.
tacoed some wheels for sure.
And I didn't even get to ride it around Fort Collins. I never got to use it. It was just using.
You never had to use it once.
No.
You never put a foot on a pedal and it moved.
I mean, I put my foot in the pedal like around the dirt, and then they took it on the jumps, and it just got ruined.
Yeah, because we straight up dirt jumped this cruiser.
Yeah.
And we're having the time of our life.
It was fun,
And then
but
we put it back, and we're like taking it off the truck to give it to her, and we notice like the wheels rubbing in like 8 different spots because it's just so tacoed. And we had grandiose dreams that we were gonna fix those wheels, but it was never gonna happen.
it never did happen.
And then we just threw it in a dumpster behind Best Buy somewhere.
Yeah.
It was gone forever.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was a good time though.
Yeah. So ridiculous that we actually jumped that bike. Like looking back on it.
That's exactly what we do, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
There's
sure.
no.
We would do it today. Like if
Yeah.
kids.
Life is all about ruining good things.
Yeah, I totally agree.
We
Like
have great cars that we race in snow, sleet.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys
just
you guys
destroy.
buy those cars specifically for the purpose of the fun that they create. Like it's not like
Yeah, things
Well,
aren't
It's not, you
important.
guys
It's
don't
what you
buy
can
them
do
for the
with the
Yeah,
status.
things.
exactly.
It's not like you buy it's not like you buy your 911 for the status. You bought it for the racetrack, like to pound on and have fun with. And that's
Well,
like,
I feel like everything in life, does it really matter? Like,
Right.
is life so long and precious that we need to keep these things around because there's not a million more of them that we can't replace?
Yeah, I
They
totally
were
agree.
made
That
for a
like
purpose. Use it.
right.
it's like when you have like that favorite pair of shoes and you don't want to wear it
Oh, I
because you're gonna ruin it,
destroy my shoes.
and you're like, oh man, like or like that. I remember I've had like shirts where I'm like, oh, this is a white shirt, I can't wear it. It's like my favorite shirt, and I'm like, no, that's the point. Like, go get it dirty, go live life.
I've never ever had that mentality, and that's like
I
one of
get
the things
weirdly
Josh keeps
attached to
trying to
clothes.
get me to buy, like Ray-Bans or like a nice pair of sunglasses, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I destroy everything I own. Like, I wear the crap out of. Like, I have a bucket of shoes that are like $20 pairs of shoes. But I'm gonna go take them to get like my high heels I wear to work. I go take them and get the heel replaced when I literally wear through the rubber on the heel because I just don't. I love my shoes, and it's like, I don't know, $12 to get the soles replaced. I'm gonna do that over
Yeah.
buying 50.
Dude, I wish I
60.
could do that with my
I
DMS shoes.
don't.
say I
I
love my
don't.
life.
I have always worn the crap out of my stuff. I don't buy like super expensive stuff. I
But
try
that's
to
the
look.
point,
I try
is,
to look
like,
decent, like when I
you
go to
look
work.
great.
The
But
problem is the expensive stuff wears out just as fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
don't buy it,
better.
but people buy it for me. So
Yeah. Shout out to Aunt Kate.
Yeah.
Killing it. Aunt Kate. Um,
Dust
Yeah,
them
I-
shoulders off, Dylan.
yeah. No, I feel like that's like a really good point though, is I feel like you can get really caught up in having something nice instead of using it.
Yeah, I think it's
Like I had a
definitely-
pre-runner for a while that it had like a full roll cage and everything, and I
and
feel
it
like
was used.
yeah, like we really like I bought that truck knowing I was going to flip it.
we took it to a motocross track. Just
Yeah, like we really tried to like, versus I feel like a lot of people end up
we were
buying
jumping
like
it 50 feet through the air.
it was
There's
not
a
50
video
feet high,
somewhere.
yeah, but it was sick.
Well, yeah, not 50 feet.
But it was
But 50 feet distance.
it was perfect. Yeah, I actually, true story, today, speaking of Joy Quota, since I sold that car, there's not been a single day, without exaggeration at all, I think about that car for at least 15 seconds a day and how much I miss it. And I just recently reached out to my insurance guy and got the VIN number so I can track down whoever owns it now, and I'm going to try and buy it off of him.
Wait, this isn't the
Whoa.
one that was rolled, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I put all the work to like, it was honestly nicer after I rebuilt it.
Alright, real quick, we took it to a motocross track, a literal motocross track, where we're jumping it over 20 to 50 foot jumps, and then he rolls it driving
In Rampart,
straight
yeah.
down
Yeah.
a road.
It wasn't
It wasn't
straight. No,
straight.
it was
It was a
a
flat
corner and it had really wide tires. It's on a real gravelly road, so it just started like sliding a little, and there was a rut from the rain that was exactly the
Yeah.
width of the tire. and just
We rolled
couldn't
in on
quite get
rain
it out.
After
Yeah.
we jumped it.
Yeah, well, that was the
It's-
thing.
It's
is
always
like,
where you're not
so we
expecting
always-
it. When you're on high alert, you never crash. It's when you're like not paying attention, right? Like even
It's a
on
good
your
life
bike.
lesson, though.
Yeah.
Well, we always took Josh's Silverado up to Rampart and would drift it and like take it over, like try and drive as fast as we could over the jumps without destroying the car. And that was the one thing that stuck out to me as we took yours up. Spent the whole day doing like crazy jumps in Rampart, and
Yeah, literally.
you don't
just
even
driving
feel
that.
it. Like it was incredible. Like in his truck and his Silverado,
Yeah.
you think you're like literally
You think
giving
you're doing
yourself
permanent
whiplash.
damage to your
Yeah.
spine and the
This was
truck.
like a
Yeah.
lowered Silverado.
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
were trying
It was-
to jump.
It was not a rally.
And then, yeah, and then we take that out, and it was just like you would just get air, and it was fun and hilarious, and we did all this crazy stuff, and you're like, you would think that's where it would crash, and then you're just like casually, slowly driving down a dirt road.
Just
and
lost a
it
little bit
just-
of grip,
yeah.
and it's like, what are you gonna do?
Oh
Roll.
gosh.
Yeah. No, it was so. Yeah, literally speaking of Joy Quota, I love that truck. Like, there's been moments of like thinking how much I love that truck that has brought me to
Right,
tears.
this is our fourth wheel, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to complete the me, you, alley. circle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be perfect. So I'm excited to go track that thing down.
It's the fourth wheel in our
And
love.
Oh.
Triangle, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
rectangle.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah, no, I miss that truck dearly, and I'm very excited. And I'd kind of been thinking about doing that for a long time, and I just like, maybe. And then my wonderful wife and I were down in Durango, and we're sitting in the back seat of my dad's car as we're driving to some bar. And all of a sudden I see a Ford Explorer with the fender flares and everything. It was painted silver, but I would be shocked if the registration doesn't show up in Durango. And it literally had the exact same body roll, everything, and I just see it from like 300 yards out, and I just immediately am just like, oh, you guys, I think that's my car. Oh my God, I think I'm literally seeing the thing I've been dreaming about for like 6 years since I sold it. And ever since then, I haven't been able to get it out of my mind, so I'm gonna chase it down. I'm gonna get that car
That's
back.
good. Do it.
Can you legally do that with the VIN number? Like,
Yeah,
just-
yeah, I looked
just
it up because like there are people who like their grandpa owned like a cool car from like the '60s, and they want to know where it happened to end up, and like, yeah. So if I can, I'm gonna try and reach out and get that car back because it's the definition of a joy quoter, right? Like everything about it's impractical, nothing about it is reasonable,
Right, I
but
feel
it's
like
just
you
built
can't
to make
sell
smiles
your
happen.
Focus as your daily.
That's kind of how.
This would just be the extra.
I don't know.
But,
I might. I mean, I probably wouldn't sell the Focus just because I've gotten every bit of money I could have out of that. So like we've talked about turning it into like a Lemons car for the 24-hour Lemons,
That we still need to
which
do.
I'm
We
really down
do.
for. We'll have to swap that tie rod and the suspension parts, but that counts as safety parts, so we can claim it for
Do you
the.
want to drive 24 hours in a Focus though?
We
Dude,
for
that thing's
sure
actually
wanna-
surprisingly
Who
fun to
cares?
drive.
It's the whole point of it is
Decent
just
chassis.
like to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
No,
and-
I want to do the race. I'm just saying, like, we could each put in $200 and probably buy something better than a Focus.
well,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
maybe.
Isn't
Travis
there
Pastrana
there's
just
a
did it.
$500 limit, isn't there?
Yeah, there's only like a $400 or $500.
Yeah, it's like
limit.
there's a
Yeah,
limit.
no, that's
But
what
I
he
looked it
said.
up, and it's really expensive to do the actual race. It's like $1,500 to
Oh, that's
like,
right.
enter.
Well, and you can spend a ton on. You have to spend a ton on safety.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
mean,
just for the car. Like the
A
car
nice
itself
seat's
can be
gonna
$500.
cost you $1,000.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it
So
gets
it's an
pricey,
investment,
but you
yeah.
want to spend cheap on
Dude,
the
we'll
car.
take
so
the
that
seats
you
out of the
can-
Explorer. They're bucket seats.
You might be able to just go buy a Lemons car that's already done.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
But what's
for
the,
500.
like-
that'd be crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think kind of the
We'll look
fun
into
is
it.
getting it all set up.
But yeah, I mean that's the whole point, right? Like I feel like so often we get caught up in trying to buy something for like the status or even like jobs. Like we try and get a job for the status or for what it's going to tell people about us instead of just doing what actually fills your tank up and like makes you
Right.
happy. And yeah, I don't know how we ended up on the spot, but I love it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
You were talking about your pre-runner. That's like Josh and I, how we feel about motorcycles, I think. Like we talk about them all the
Yeah.
time, but it's like after we got rid of ours, we still like, especially on like just a nice, cool but warm summer day or like even spring day, and seeing people riding in the fall, it's like the perfect time before the snow hits. And that every year we're like, we need bikes again. And then like, I don't know, it's just so impractical that eventually Josh has been talking to me about maybe doing
like Airbnb with cars now.
I don't think
Turo?
Turo does it with
Turo.
Yeah.
motorcycles.
I don't know if they do it with
I'm
motorcycles
sure they
either,
will
but
soon if they don't
If
do
not,
If they
we
don't-
should.
Because that would be perfect for that, right?
speaking of Turo,
You
we
get
were
to, like-
going
We're
to
like,
only-
okay, next week, day night,
The only
or date
liability
day
is
or
like
whatever.
motorcycles get crashed.
That's
way
true.
more than
That's a
Yeah.
great
anything
point.
else, so.
Yeah. It is
we're
not
gonna
the
do at
same
some
as a car.
point. It was gonna be this year, but now we're kind of putting that on pause. But we're gonna do one of these in the next couple years. Rent off Turo, probably a Porsche, and do the PCH Pacific
Oh,
Coast
nice.
Highway.
Yeah, I love Turo. Like, what a great idea! I can't believe it works. Like, I can't believe there are people with cool
No,
cars who are willing to
I'd
get.
never let anybody, I don't even have a nice car, and I wouldn't let anybody drive it.
But
Like,
I think it's different if you bought a car for Turo.
But
I think that's
all
what
the
people
like
do.
super nice cars. I don't think people are doing that. Like the other day, we saw that F-Type
yeah,
R.
the F-Type R that we can get for $160. Hopefully, link in the description very soon that we're gonna do that. Because
Yeah, I'd like to make that video
they are
happen.
gonna not do that after.
Oh, well,
Christian.
don't say that.
No.
No, I
Turn
mean,
that
like,
on.
we'd be respectful of the car, and, like, for our purposes, what
Yes,
we're doing it for.
respectful.
Yeah.
What we're doing it
Quote,
for is
unquote.
just,
I
like,
will
a
drive it
casual
just
drive.
like I drive my car.
That's the key word, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we know how to drive. It's not like we're gonna crash it. We're just gonna
Well, I just,
drive it until the wheels fall off.
I
Aw.
just love the idea of like being able.
Nobody's gonna rent you
Yeah.
their car.
No, just like how Airbnb, like I like the idea of getting
This
to
video is sponsored by
experience
Toyota.
things
Yeah.
that are like there's so many things in life where like I don't want that car. I really don't. But I want to drive it at least once.
Well,
you know,
that's-
and that's the kind of
yeah.
thing where like it really opens up the possibility to fill people's joy quota. Like
Yeah.
there's so many people in
absolutely.
life. Like there was a cool like super classic convertible Mustang. Like that is not a car I want to own. I'd love
awful.
to drive that around for a day and just be like, man, I'm in a convertible Mustang. Like this is
Right.
an experience. This is something that like I want to have for a day.
Well,
And
we
I
were
feel like that's such a
looking-
cool concept. I feel like there's a lot of
Yeah.
companies now that are focusing on like, how can we give people that experience that they only want for a day without all of the
Oh, because that's such a
impracticalities of
Right.
it.
millennial
Mhm.
thought, though. It's like,
Microwave.
I don't want to
mentality.
own
to-
anything. Yeah.
I just want to have the experience. It's for the experience.
Well, like Josh and I.
living my best life. Like,
Yeah.
hashtag-
But that's
Hashtag
important.
YOLO.
Well, that's what
I
it's
think.
all about. Like, otherwise, that's the point. Like, we all. It's not necessarily. I mean, for some people, it's about showing people what you've done, but for like just the experience itself, just that raw, just you and that experience that you have, that's something that you should strive for. Like, why would
Yeah,
you just
totally,
live
totally,
your
totally.
life just behind a computer desk,
Yeah.
just earning money that you're not gonna like? You're spending it to have fun with your life. Like, you want those experiences. Like,
Absolutely. It's like the Airbnb that we had for Allie and I's wedding. Like
yeah.
there's like a 0% chance that one of us by this point in our life would have had enough money to have a house like that up in that
Right.
crazy cool of a spot.
Yeah.
But instead we all got to chip in together and have this like amazing weekend.
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of
Pissed
people.
off neighbors, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they own the houses. Like
Yeah,
If they were just
exactly,
renting
because they
those,
own the
they
houses.
would have been
Yeah,
having a great weekend.
I feel like too many people get stuck in that mentality of like, oh, I have to worry about what everything
Well,
is.
but there is something to be said about like working hard for those things and having respect for those things. Like, I think
I
that's
guess
a
I
very
just work
important
hard for my
distinguish.
experiences instead
Yeah,
of
but
my
I mean, when you're
things.
using someone else's property, I think you need to be respectful of how
we treated
hard
the house
how
fine.
hard they worked. Yeah, I'm just saying, like the way you guys are talking is like, oh, we just
Yeah,
worked.
yeah, you can't just
it's
go burn
not. It's
everything
not.
around you and
Like,
be like,
they worked. Someone worked
everything's
really hard.
one-time use and
And like there is
ruinable.
pride in that. Like, I think that is a joy quota for like some people. They want, it's not necessarily the status, it's just that they worked their butts off to get to that point and they
Yeah.
have it, and that in and of itself, it's like self-worth for them.
Yeah.
And that is joyful in and of
Absolutely.
itself. Like, just because we like doing experiences more than we like the actual physical thing, for some people that, and I gotta say, I'm that way to an extent. Like, I can't wait for
Uh-huh.
us to, I busted my butt off to put our whole down payment on our first condo
I know.
ever.
Shout
And,
out to Kim for being hella financially
like
responsible.
that was
Yeah.
like a pride thing for me.
Yeah.
And I like, it's not like it's our tiny little home and we love it. It's not like anything
Oh, it's
special,
dope.
but for me it was
Still
a
need to
pride
make your
thing.
handrail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, do that.
True.
Where is our
Yeah.
handrail?
I know. I keep technically I
you
can't
got
right
you got
now
some
because
time
my
because we're gonna
the-
stay there a while.
oh you are yeah the owner of my
Yeah.
company won't let me
Just
use the
said you were
welder
gonna
anymore.
sell it.
So
So we were gonna
Yeah.
sell it and get a house, but there's just other things in the universe that we're
What?
putting on hold. No, I'm
Oh.
drinking right now.
dude, I don't know what kind of
Yeah,
life
there's
you
6
live.
months. I
Oh, that's
was
right. My
6 months
timer
of,
hasn't gone off.
Mexico.
For those who don't know, I put a timer in my phone for 6 months after JT and Kim got back from Mexico, so that I could
because
call
Zika
them.
virus.
Yeah, and
Zika
For
virus
the
lasted
love
6
Which-
months.
doctor.
Has
Yeah.
dropped down to 3 months, just so you
What?
know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's a new thing.
you gonna take that gamble?
No.
Yeah. No.
No,
Yeah.
it's more just
Saving.
yeah, it's like job related and stuff like that. And like we love our place right now.
It's a
And
great spot.
I think like again, I get so caught up in future looking that I've like we're happy where we are right now. There's no need
Yeah.
to go put ourselves in a situation financially that might not make sense right now. And